Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
It's the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, and we got a new logo, somewhat of a new we got new graphics for SmackDown, not for the channel. The new logo though is updated on here, but we are popping and rolling, guys. What is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and once again, for the second time this week, I am here live, energetic, and much more, ready for a better stream than the Raw stream from Thursday night. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I almost deleted that stream. I'm being honest. I know I said I was going to cut out a couple little pieces of it, but I so pushed through that one and got so gassed out. I even went back and took peeks at moments of that stream, and I saw I literally was falling asleep while live. I was like losing my train of thought on so many things. I am so sorry. So I'll kind of recap the little extra topics. Well, besides the Joe Tessitore stuff I wanted to talk about in the last stream, I did get my point across there. I did get my points across on Raw. It's just like the extra stuff, like the stuff with Raw going 2 hours starting in October. And of course, the Vince McMahon documentary thing. If I will watch that or not, I will briefly touch on that in this stream. Because quite frankly, I feel like the extra stuff on the side is what we talk about more than SmackDown itself. SmackDown, well, first off, it was the season premiere of SmackDown. Again, I never get the whole season premiere stuff. But we also were, this was the first episode of SmackDown on the USA Network since 2019, as we moved back to SmackDown and the Fox era has ended. Sabbath, calm down back there. My dog, one of my dogs down here with me. Can't you see in the background? Sab! I see his tail wagging in the background there. So it was the first episode of SmackDown, and if I'm not mistaken, for when Triple H did the introduction, it sounded like they were doing like a soft 25-year anniversary celebration as well for SmackDown. There were a couple of legends in the crowd. Mostly a lot of current superstars on Raw. Some legends. It wasn't really like an anniversary show. They acknowledged it, but they didn't celebrate like an anniversary show like how Raw's 30 was last year. Which, to me, is still probably the best anniversary show I for sure have seen. Nothing else really. But we're still going to get into it. Again, I'm going to talk about a few topics, and I'll briefly talk about SmackDown. Like I said, the only thing besides that really mattered to me for SmackDown was the stuff with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline, as usual. Everything else, well, I did like match 5 between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. It looks like we are next week getting the U.S. title match with LA Knight and whoever won that match. An interesting setup for the women's titles picture. We'll talk about that when we get to it. So a little bit of a curveball. But to me, it was kind of like they tried throwing in curveballs just to cover up the obvious, I felt like, in this show. I didn't hate it. It's just that, again, SmackDown's just not really popping right now. They're just not. And again, if people are speculating SmackDown to eventually go 3 hours when Raw goes to Netflix, they need a different roster. If you really, and again, truth be told, I'm okay with SmackDown going 3 hours on a Friday night. My thing is Raw right now, with the roster they have, they can produce quality 3-hour shows. So if that's the case, I'm okay with having 1 3-hour show with WWE. And if they're doing that with SmackDown, again, I'm okay with it. It's just right now, SmackDown does not have the roster to be putting on quality 3-hour shows. Their 2-hour shows are just like barely being passable. Not saying everything sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just that it's just not. It's night and day between Raw and SmackDown. And quite frankly, also, if you're moving Raw back to 2 hours, we've been asking for it for years. 2-hour shows, that's fine with me. Honestly, if that's the case, I may be able to come down here after Raw if I'm not too tired. Usually I have a little bit of energy at 10 o'clock. Well, depends, not like this past Thursday. And if I'm recording my review, I can record it right after Raw and get it done with that night. Because I can't review Tuesdays, because Tuesdays it's my night out. I guess something that I'm worried about, though, with having 2-hour shows, will it take away from some opportunities? It may not if Raw gives some share to SmackDown, because now, if you're going to keep both shows 2 hours, then even up the rosters. Because I keep saying this, Raw has a lot of established talent. SmackDown has some established talent, but most of the talent is still damaged. And it's just like, it's people who are just like struggling to find their place. And with a lot of them feuding with each other, it's not quite helping out the cause. And of course, it also makes Cody Rhodes' reign look kind of lame, if I'm being honest. Is he putting on great matches? Yes. But it's not great unless it's within a certain group. Like, Cody Rhodes' stories haven't been that interesting unless it involves Roman Reigns and some way the bloodline. So, I don't know. But they did hit me with a curveball, that stuff with the women's division. Also, SmackDown logo below, I think it's pretty cool. As you see in the thumbnail too, I tried to incorporate the gradients somewhat into it. Looks great. I'm happy with it as well. And the graphics too are really cool. Like the matches they show, I think when they show the graphic for advertising the matches, love that stuff as well. The song, I think it's the same theme song they use for Money in the Bank. Makes it sound a little more sci-fi-ish, if that makes any sense. I'm cool with it. I'm totally okay with it. Again, this is the first switch from networks with updated graphics with Triple H, as I believe so. So something different. Open to giving it a shot. So yeah, there's that. I talked about the Raw going to 2 hours and SmackDown going to 3 hours, maybe. Which, like I said, if they have the roster, I'm up to giving it a chance. Again, the only thing I worry about both shows going back to 2 hours is it going to decrease opportunities right now. And also the last thing I'm going to talk about also, because again, I want to talk about it very briefly, because I tried to talk about it in my Raw review, but again, got gassed out, got sleepy as hell, and like I said, I literally watched that part, peek back part, and I'm like, damn, I should have just cut it right there. But I'm going to talk about it quickly. Again, they announced that the Vince McMahon documentary is going to be available on Netflix. It's a 6-part doc series, starting on September 25th. Am I going to watch it? I don't know. And the truth being told is, one, the fact that, again, I know if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, we wouldn't be here today with where the industry is. I agree with that 100%. That does not mean, though, I've lost a ton of respect for him. Not just for, how he went about running day-to-day operations whenever he was still in charge. And how, again, as I say this, and this is why, of course, also, I can't, completely shit on AEW as bad as I would shit on WWE. At least Tony Khan is not trying to insult us. If there's anybody he tries to toy with, it's other talent from WWE. CM Punk. And all that jazz. But at least Tony Khan is still a wrestling fan. Yes, his weekly shows are hot garbage, but at least he's a wrestling fan, and he's not out there to insult us. Vince McMahon was out there to insult us. He was playing games and with us, and just literally just like showing that as long as he got our money, he doesn't care. Tony Khan does not. Yes, he likes to cover up that things are not okay, but again, at least he still cares about fans. But the main thing I'm kind of worried about with this documentary, because I did read in one of the episodes the Janelle Grant allegations that were against him that caused them to put the final straw and for him to be gone for good. I hope so, but he did sell all of his shares of stock he had with the company. The last thing I'm worried about this documentary is going to be this thing where, like, it's his one last jab he takes at us to basically try to put a damper on the company. And that is something like, like Triple H and Stephanie were a lot more involved with these allegations, and there's some blame on them. Or there's other people in the company who were involved with these as well, that I'm just worried that it's one last attempt for him to pull WWE back down with him. Of course, I'm not going to lie, I've said a few moments I've worried that he's popped back in, because they've had a couple, even on Raw this past week, they didn't say hospital, they said local medical facility. Of course, could that just be a habit? Maybe, but still, I hear that and I'm like, uh-oh. Because you notice, it was pro wrestling. When Vince came back, it was sports entertainment again. And then whenever he was gone, because Cody Rhodes said, something about pro wrestling in his WrestleMania victory speech. So, I'm scared to watch it. That's my thing. I'm scared to watch it. I'm scared it's Vince's last attempt to, swing the sword at the head, basically. That's what I'm scared this documentary is going to be. I know it was basically being done in play before all this happened a couple years ago, but especially if they add in this some of the allegations, and knowing Vince, and I do not trust him, man, I do not. Knowing him, this could be the last way for him to kind of, throw dirt at the company, pretty much. So, I'm a little scared about that, but again, just wanted to get that out there. Maybe I'll make a short with that information as well, since I said I was going to break stuff down from the other stream, but like I said, it just flopped, but, it is what it is. But, okay, I'm going to check the live chat, then we're going to review SmackDown, then you actually have to get out of here, because I am going to be going to the movies tonight to see Beetlejuice with my wife, my nephew, and my sister-in-law. Haven't been to the movies in quite a long time, probably before the pandemic. I think the last time I went, I've been to a drive-thru 2 or 3 times with my wife. I have not been to an actual movie theater since right before the pandemic, when I saw the Mr. Rogers movie with the man you all know as Daniel Gaiza when he lived out in Akron, Ohio. I think I've been in a theater since. I'm very excited, especially for the movie theater popcorn. And we're going to see Beetlejuice as well. Just something different. Nice, but I'm going to check the live chat here first, and then we're going to get rolling. We've got Tyler saying, hey, Mike, hashtag we want Charlotte. I am surprised Charlotte's not back yet. I thought she would have been back by SummerSlam, but she's not back yet, so I don't know if her injury is taking a little longer, or she's just holding off longer. I don't know. But yeah, Charlotte should be back soon. They may have her be the one to dethrone Nia, I won't lie. He thought 2019 was the worst years of WWE. That's what he thought so. And we got Robbie Kenobi saying, Mikey! Hey, but I didn't watch SmackDown live last night. Was the season premiere only 2 hours? It was only 2 hours. There was those rumblings of it being 3, but it was only 2 in the end. There was an overrun, though. And I did tune in a little bit late because I tried to take care of 1 or 2 things before I started watching SmackDown. But yeah, there was an overrun. So the DVR didn't tape the overrun. Tyler says SmackDown does not have to be 3 hours. With the current roster, yes. Like I said, Triple H has shown he can put together quality 3-hour shows on Raw. So again, I think the reason why SmackDown may go 3 hours is because, again, USA always wanted Raw to be 2 hours. And and right now, because that's like their flagship shows. WWE is popular, so that's how USA Network is going to gain people to watch their shows, because there's going to be advertisements of other shows happening on USA. And now that they're losing Raw and NXT, SmackDown might be their only prayer with a flagship show right now. So that will be the case if they do, what's the thing? If they go to 3 hours. I can understand why, like I said, if Triple H can put together a quality 3-hour show, I'm okay with giving SmackDown a shot at 3 hours on a Friday night. And, again, it's a Friday night too, so 3 hours is better than watching 3 hours on a Monday night. Let me see here. He also says AEW is full of hot garbage. It's not garbage. Can Cody face anyone else besides the fake bloodline? He wants AJ Styles. I don't think he's going to be facing AJ again, unfortunately. I think that feud is over with. I really thought he was going to face Kevin Owens again. Kevin Owens was going to turn heel, but that is not happening. Yeah, I don't know who else he's going to face besides The Rock at this point. Or Randy. You got to do him and Randy at some point. But then again, Randy is still too... He's still too likable right now. He's got to do something to make him hated again, I think. Robbie says, I think WrestleMania 41 will be perfect for Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, which I think is definitely a dream match. Because I know Tiffany has said in interviews that Charlotte was her inspiration to get into wrestling. So that would be great if they did it at WrestleMania. Gonna, not be against it. She thinks Tiffany will successfully cash in on Nia and briefly feud with her, then start a program with Charlotte for the right to call themselves the true Queen of WWE. Yes, that would definitely be very nice. Because even too, it's like they're teasing a feud with Tiffany and Chelsea. They didn't do anything this week, but off and on they're teasing a feud with Tiffany and Chelsea Green. So I don't know if that is a way to tease that they're gonna turn Tiffany face and have her cash in on Nia. I don't know, but they could. And also Robbie says SmackDown should say 2 hours. There's not enough talent to drive a 3-hour shows right now. Currently, definitely. Like I said. If they got some talent from Raw, maybe. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm willing to give it a chance because Triple H has proven to me that he can do 3 hours. And if they have, because if Raw stays at 2 hours, because again, Raw is going to 2 hours starting on October 7th for the rest of the year. They could stay to 2 hours when they go to Netflix because there may not be any commercials, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, the biggest thing I just don't want to see happen is I don't want talent to get opportunities eliminated. Also, too, I did read they're going to be cutting back on house shows. Because then they went from 300 to 250 this year. I think next year they're going to get down just to 200. Which is good, because again, these guys are on the road how much? They deserve to be home a little more often with their families. So... But yeah, I got a lot of those thoughts caught up there. Thank you guys for letting me do that really quick since I gassed out during my Raw review. So let's talk about SmackDown. Again, I wanted to go live with this being the season premiere. And again, it was only 2 hours with an overrun. Because Fox, there was not allowed to be an overrun on Fox. Yeah, although I'm not going to lie, another little story. In my living room right now, so when we got some new nightstands for our bedroom, we had to rearrange the bedroom to fit the nightstands. And at the time, we were using a cable box connected to the wires that come out of the floor. Well, when we rearranged it, the wire could not reach the TV. So we had a wireless cable box out in the living room, and one that's not wireless in the bedroom. So we switched them around, but right now, the way it's positioned, it's kind of tight. And I didn't know, but one of my cats knocked the cable box off the table before I started watching SmackDown last night, and my TV was blinking like crazy. I thought when they were out away from Fox, they weren't going to be blinking out the littlest vulgar detail in the background. And at first I'm like, geez, this is horrible. And then I realized, they knocked the cable box off and the plug was partially pulled out of the socket. So the first part, the opening part of SmackDown before we got to the first match, which was the Undisputed world title match for the steel cage match, my TV was blinking like crazy, and I'm just like, well, this sure sucks. And I realized what's going on. I'm like, oh, it's me. It's not USA. But what I know. We're going to get into it now again, talk about the show. Again, the show took place in Seattle, Washington. And the show opened up with the game Triple H coming out. And I see him first come out, and he sees the whole crowd and goes, wow. And he comes out, and he says, it feels like just yesterday, he was opening the first ever episode of SmackDown. And he faced The Rock. And here we are here, 25 years later. And there's no better place to be than right here, right now, in Seattle, Washington. And no better place to start it off than with the Undisputed Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Sikoa. So, are you ready? I said, are you ready? And then, of course, the cage lowered down, which, how fast did Triple H have to get out of that ring for that cage to lower? Because it's like you see him in the shot, and all of a sudden you see a shot of the cage lowering, and then you see a wide shot, like 2 seconds later, and he's already gone. I'm like, the man's got a pacemaker, but he can move pretty quickly. So that's how we open up the show, with the Undisputed Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Sikoa inside of a steel cage. Which, thank God they did this match at here. I did not want to see Cody and Sol have another pay-per-view match at Bloodline. I was fine with their SummerSlam match, but again, it's just, I keep saying this. Character-wise, Solo's awesome. In the ring, though, wrestling, the results, he's just, it's not living up to the hype. And I'm starting to wonder, are they kind of veering away from this because they know, out of everyone in the Bloodline right now, Jacob Fatu is definitely getting more over, a lot more popular, and is realistically a tougher challenge, in my opinion, than Solo right now. So they might just be rolling with it because they realize that, they're exhausting their options with Solo, and the better, star right now is Jacob. But anyways, we had the match, and I thought the match wasn't too bad. Couple little crazy spots. Cody doing a high crossbody from the top and whatnot. I know they look like they may have landed on their heads in one of the spots. So, kind of, some crazy spots, but still good. A couple of nice Cody cutters in there. The only problem I had with this match was, why did it feel like... Because normally in a steel cage match, I feel like the heels try to find the cheaper way out than the faces. Why did it feel like Cody was trying to escape the cage more often than Solo was? Especially since Cody's already beaten Solo. It's one thing if Solo has beaten Cody, which, fun fact, I don't think Solo's ever beaten Cody. Not in their 2 title matches. Solo did eat his first loss to Cody Rhodes back on the Raw before WrestleMania 35. But in this match, again, Cody has the upper hand. He has Solo's number, but yet he was trying to escape the cage more than Solo did. Did Solo even try to escape the cage at all? I don't know. So I thought that was a little weird, but, it was still a good match. Cody eventually does win with the Crossroads. Afterwards, though, the rest of the Bloodline swarmed the cage. And even though they could have just opened the door and ran right in, they all climbed the cage, which Cody could have just ran out the door too, and surrounded Cody. So then they started beating down on Cody. Jacob Fatu climbed to the top rope, about to do probably like a moonsault or something off the very top of the cage. Until Roman Reigns makes his return. This is the first time we've seen Roman Reigns since the 2nd episode of SmackDown after SummerSlam. He comes down, he gets in the cage, and he slams the door shut, and he starts taking out the Bloodline. After that, though, Cody gets back on his feet, and even though it's still 4-on-2, they're both just, wrecking shop. Well, they basically beat down Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. And then Sikoa, of course, ran off like a coward. Jacob Fatu did get back in there to fight with Roman, but then Solo pulled him out, which I liked. I like that they didn't have Jacob Fatu be a coward, because I think Jacob is going to get over. I think he'll easily, by the end of the year, maybe be a babyface. So that was nice to see there. But of course, you see Cody and Roman inside the cage still, kind of like, just giving each other looks here and there and whatnot. And then, after commercial break, which the first half hour of the show was commercial free, Nick Aldis is backstage. It says everyone is being sequestered in their dressing rooms, but Solo has reached out to him with an offer for a tag match with him and Jacob Fatu. He goes, he'll work things up and get back to us about that later on in the show, which was the main gist of the whole show. Mia Yim had a match with Piper Niven. Didn't care for the match, really. After Mia had a good showing in the street fight with Nia Jax a few weeks ago, now it feels like that she's just having short, old-style diva matches with Chelsea and Piper. Chelsea, I can get. Piper, though, I'm like, didn't they just give Piper a women's title shot a few months ago trying to establish her, and they just barely have given her much of a shot since? I didn't really care for the match. Mia does win with the Eat Defeat, I think they call her finisher. And then afterwards, Chelsea Green throws in a garbage can, and she gets the unprettier on Mia Yim onto the garbage can. No one's supposed to do, but okay. Of course, like I said, we got some montages celebrating 25 years of SmackDown again. It was kind of a soft anniversary show, as they were showing some people in the crowd throughout the night. At this point, the crowd, they showed Imperium, Gunther, and Ludwig Kaiser in the crowd. They also showed Rob Van Dam. And then they showed someone that I was kind of like, why? Vicky Guerrero was there as well. Vicky Guerrero has not been mentioned or seen on TV since she had those issues with one of her daughters having some accusations against her stepdad. And Vicky at the time, I don't know if it's still the case, basically disowned her daughter for doing that. So I was kind of surprised to see them show her on TV, because I thought that, because of what she said and whatnot, would kind of like leave a bad taste with showing her on TV. So that one kind of bothered me a little as to why they allowed Vicky Guerrero to be shown on TV, but yet that happened. And it really has been no clarity or sense or whatnot, or proven her innocence or whatnot. Anyways, we then are getting ready for A-Town Down Under taking on Kevin Owens and a mystery partner. Look, we all know who it was going to be, but they tried to throw a little bit of a curveball at us, because who I thought his partner was didn't come out at first. We then had some other looking jobber come out, which apparently it's Ricky Gibson of Midnight Heat. Some sort of wrestling school, I guess. I don't know. Never heard of him. But the crowd was kind of hopping. And then Kevin Owens comes out, and of course he apologized and says the guy he wanted isn't here, having some travel issues, but he'll accept Ricky. Until a crew member waves over saying, he's here. And then Kevin goes, oh, I'm sorry, Ricky. Thanks anyway, though. And stuns him out of the ring. And then out comes all we knew also, it was going to be Randy Orton coming out. And they had the match, and it was basically a squash. How many more times is Kevin Owens and Randy Orton going to fight A-Town Down Under? Whether it's one-on-one, tag match, I don't know. I'm sick of these guys fighting. They've fought so much, especially Kevin Owens and A-Town Down Under. It's just old for me. But again, it was basically like, a little bit of like a squash and Kevin Owens repeating some of Randy's moves and whatnot. I really thought this was going to be a night Kevin Owens turned heel, but it wasn't. I thought they kind of teased it at the end of the match when Orton was kind of like staring down, A-Town down under, and Owens stayed behind. They kind of teased it a little. So they could maybe come in. But, yeah. I didn't really care for that. I'm just like, it's whatever. Here's an interesting part. Well, this part tried to make me interested, but then at the end it was kind of like, there was like, okay, but why did he change his mind? But, so we had a backstage where Nick Aldis is holding a contract. He says Solo proposed the idea of him and Jacob Fatu take on Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at Bad Blood in a tag match, which they have already signed the contract. So then he still needs to get Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns to sign the contract. Well, Cody comes by, and he says, I'm sorry, but I'm done with the bloodline. And as far as he's concerned, this is now Roman Reigns' problem, and he has no intention of signing the contract. He walks away, and at first you're like, ooh! Like, if anybody you thought wouldn't sign the contract, you would be told first, it would be Roman. But it was Cody who said he had enough, which he may have just had enough of the bloodline and just want to move on. Because even, of course, when he beat Roman, the bloodline eventually still came back for him. But yeah, that kind of surprised there. It made me think at first they were going to swerve us and maybe bring back Jimmy or something. Because right now, I would say if any of them are probably the closest to forgiving Roman, it's probably going to be Jimmy. But we didn't have Jimmy in here either. Jimmy's nowhere to be seen. But Nick Aldis, of course, says he's going to talk to Roman Reigns about the contract as well. We also then see in the crowd Booker T and Sheamus, and Michael Hayes are also in the crowd too, celebrating 25 years of Raw, and the USA premiere will return. Nia Jax then comes out, and she talks about how it's been about a year since she came back, and she's been very dominant, and how it's been easy, and how she thinks everybody's afraid of her. Nick Aldis informed her she will be defending the title at Bad Blood. She doesn't know who she's fighting, and she doesn't care. They'll meet the same fate as Mia Yim, Naomi, and Bayley have. Annihilation. Which then brings out Bayley, who comes out and she says she'll give Nia the credit that she's had the best year of her career. But it's not like the bar was very high to start with. She's happy Nia's confident because Bayley wants her rematch. Nia says she's in no position to demand anything, and this isn't like last year when she was running around behind Damage Control because she actually runs the women's division now. Bayley's like, well, I don't need at least a little crony like Tiffany Stratton to win the title, where when I took on Damage Control at WrestleMania, I won the title by myself. Tiffany comes out. She says, this is pathetic of Bayley, and they bicker back and forth. And Nia says Bayley doesn't have a prayer. Then out came Naomi. And she says if they want to fight, they got to fight, because she's not going to sit back and let them beat on her bae. And it's been a while since she held a title, and she wants to do that again. So Nia says, fine. Next week, you'll have a number one contenders match. Bayley's thinking, oh, three-way, me, Naomi, and Tiffany. We've done it before, we can do that. But Nia's like, no. Let's make the match more interesting. This is honestly one of the smartest things Nia's ever pitched. She suggests them doing a tag match, where the winner gets to fight her at Bad Blood. Meaning, if whoever between Naomi or Bayley pins for the victory, they'll get the title match at Bad Blood. And, Bayley and Naomi are like, cool, we accept. And as Nia and Tiffany go to leave, she goes, by the way, though, here's the thing, though. If we win, then whoever gets pinned, they have to leave SmackDown permanently. Ooh. Little curveball thrown in there. I started out, I'm like, okay, like, could that actually lead to something? It may, you never know. I don't know if it's just one of those, like, forced curveballs to make things, look like, because I don't know what the story could be, though, with Bayley or Naomi moving over to SmackDown. I'm over to Raw right now. I don't know what the story could be. I don't think they're going to lose. I think they are going to win. I think one of them will fight Nia at Bad Blood. I didn't predict Nia to wrestle at Bad Blood over my card predictions, but it still could happen. But that's interesting. Is that something they're actually going to follow through and do something more with it? Or is it just like a brief little ruse? Because not to make things not as predictable. We'll have to wait and see, though. We also, then backstage, will have Nick Aldis walking down the hall with the contract, and he informs us that Roman Reigns said he wants to address the tag title match, the tag team match in the ring after this upcoming match. Before the next match, we see also Teddy Long, Ron Simmons, William Regal, glorious Robert Roode, who, again, I wish we could see him have one last run, but I think he's done, unfortunately. And Damian Priest are all in the front row at SmackDown. We have the 5th match between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I thought it was another great match, another great showing. I still think they need to do an Iron Man match between the two of them at Bad Blood. Does not look like it's happening, but still a great match. Andrade wins with an Avalanche the Message, as his finisher's called. Afterwards, LA Knight comes out and basically just talks a little trash on Andrade and tells him that he gets a U.S. title shot against him, and that will be next week on SmackDown. Cool. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill being interviewed and said whoever wants what they got, which is the tag titles, they're ready, but again, they will be still retaining when that happens. And then we have the closing segment where Roman Reigns comes out with, a huge ovation. Nick Aldis is out there as well. And he says he and Roman have had their own unique history. And he just wants to say, but then Roman interrupts him, putting out his hand. Like he would when he would be asking for the microphone from Wise Man, Paul Heyman. And Aldis, of course, thought first about the contract. He held the contract, holds it, and then kind of laughs up, puts his hand out again. This time, Nick Aldis gives him the microphone. I was waiting for him to say, Seattle, acknowledge me. But instead, though, he just mentioned how he realizes a lot of things have changed. But not him. And I'm like, good. Like I said, that's the one thing I was still worried about, especially when he wasn't cutting any promos. I didn't want them just to bring back Roman Reigns and have him be a babyface again. No. Is he a babyface? Yes. Slowly, though, make him more and more of a good guy. He can be a good guy, but still have like his bad guy persona. But as time goes on, they're going to shed off this skin, and his superhero skin will be back again. But he comes out and says he's not changed. And he does not need Nick Aldis. He doesn't need a contract. This is family business. He doesn't need a partner, and he definitely doesn't need Cody Rhodes. He wants to get one thing straight. Whether he has the lay or not, he is the tribal chief. He's not just the original tribal chief. He is the only tribal chief. Love that he said that. And this is his ring. This is his show. This is his WWE. This then brings out Cody Rhodes. which of course is also when the overrun started, and I had to look this up on YouTube to watch the rest of the segment. So Cody comes out, and he questions Roman's statement about this being his ring and his product. He says it was, but it hasn't been since WrestleMania. And they throw their mics to the side, and it looks like they're about to start fighting. Until out comes Solo and Jacob. And they stomp on the ramp, and Tama Tonga and Tonga Lola come out of nowhere and attack Cody and Roman from behind. Cody gets the better of Tonga Lola and with a Cody cutter, and this frees Roman Reigns at the rock bottom on Tama Tonga. Roman then grabs the contract, opens it while staring down Solo, and he signs it. And then Cody gets up, extends a hand, and he signs the contract. And that's how the show went off the air, which I was kind of like, okay, but both men kind of had like ego promos tonight where Roman's basically saying nothing has changed with him, and Cody wanted nothing more to do with the bloodline. So, other than the fact that they got jumped again, why did they decide to team together? That part was a little bit strange. But SmackDown was okay. I gave the show to be a little lenient, a B-. Again, I like the new graphics, I like the new setup, I like it being back on USA. Just still some strange stuff, though. I gave the show a B. A B-. I'm sorry. Let's check the live chat, and let's, then we're going to wrap this stream up. I think we were right here. Oh, I like how Nia threw a curveball at Bayley and Naomi with her special stipulation for next week's match. Despite my skepticism, I've enjoyed Nia's second run, especially her improvement in the ring. In the ring, yes. For, yes, be there in a minute. Okay, I'm going to quickly the live chat, then I do have to get going, though. I do agree. Yeah, in-ring, yes. On the mic, though, but in-ring, yes. Although this is definitely one of the smartest moves she's done, for sure, with this stipulation she added in. Cody and Solo's rematch last night was much better than the SummerSlam match. I'm surprised no blood interference during the match, and agreed, great the rematch happened on TV, not bad blood. Again, it was not worthy of another pay-per-view match, I thought. Despite the short match, I like that Mia is getting screen time, and hopefully she'll have the breakout run and eventually win a women's title. I agree, yes. She definitely should. So hopefully it's the case. By the way, there was a photo I saw floating around on the internet with Mia Yim, her sister, Big E, because Big E's dating her sister, and Keith Lee at SmackDown. I saw that, I'm like, Keith Lee leave the AEW, come at WWE? I know he's been out injured, but I'm like, it could be him coming back, but I don't think he's coming back yet. But I do think when his contract expires at AEW, get his ass back to WWE. Triple H will make him a star. I know for sure. Tyler says Orton is better as a heel. Owens should go back to Raw. And Robbie says, I heard Tiffany complain about Naomi causing her to lose her shoe because of that rear end. Oh, the rear view last night at the end of that segment. For real? Oh, gosh. Queen Nia and Princess Tiffany versus Bayley and Naomi in a Teddy Long specialty, a tag team match playa. Holla holla playa. Hashtag holla holla. Nice. By the way, also, because of how over he was last night, hashtag we want Ricky for the jobber who was supposed to be Kevin Owens' tag team partner first. Tyler says also he's not a fan of the SmackDown logo that much. And that's fine. We all have a difference of opinions. I think it looks pretty cool and unique. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I felt like there was some improvement in the quality, just some weird storytelling moments there. Just a few weird things in there, and, you know, is what it is. Of course, we'll see how things continue. So that, guys, that's my review of SmackDown. That's my live review. Again, I'm going to get ready to get going, though, to go to the movies and have some pizza and enjoy some popcorn and enjoy my night. So thank you guys again for joining for this live stream. Where you guys thoughts on SmackDown? Gave the show a B-. Your thoughts also on SmackDown maybe going 3 hours in January. Raw going back to 2 hours. Will you watch the Vince McMahon documentary also? And leave your guys' thoughts again down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram, the Club of the Man 1993. Also, Robbie, but wait, one last comment. I'm glad that we retained the event Bad Blood. Remember when they wouldn't mention blood a few years ago? So we're really called Bad Blood. Oh God, yeah, that would be the pay-per-view. Bad acidic liquid, because that's what they described the blood that Bray Wyatt poured on Finn Balor. It wasn't blood; it was acidic liquid. Oh God. Again, I did not like though that this past week on Raw they did say local medical facility again instead of hospital. That bothered me, but as long as Vince is not around, we're in good hands. But again, hopefully, I'm just hoping that documentary does not damper things. The momentum right after WWE. But I want to get ready to go now, guys. I'll catch y'all later. Have a great rest of your day. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram, the Club of the Man 1993. And I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!